This is the Barbados Today morning news for Tuesday, March 21st. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Claire Williams. We begin with news this morning that there are signs that the battle for the presidency of the National Union of Public Workers could get ugly, with the contenders taking potshots at each other. The contest has also exposed a major rift between Akani McDowell's challenger, the Deputy General Treasurer Roy Greenidge, and his executives' pay demands for public workers. In an interview with Barbados Today, Greenidge said the union's demands for a 23% pay rise was ridiculous and unreasonable, and it would be taken off the table if he was elected president next month. McDowell is questioning Greenidge's motives, warning it could be another attempt to prevent the union from holding the government's feet to the fire. But Greenidge insists he has no political affiliation.
I don't know about anyone else, but personally speaking, I am not aligned. I said that to person. I get very offended when people try to align me. I got a situation now where someone used my name and called me, affiliated me, and I know that that would not end that way. I've never had membership. I've never attended any of those political parties' meetings. I'm serious, very serious. Brother McDowell has stated openly that he is surprised that I am challenging him. We are one organization, okay? And it's obvious that there has to be some person inside challenging him. You don't go outside for a challenge. The challenge has to be internal.
Government could soon face a second protest march if it does not meet teachers' demands for payment for marking school-based assessment projects. The Barbados Secondary Teachers Union says it had originally considered its own March of Disgust the theme for the recent opposition protest march, but it settled instead on a March of Respect to send a clear message to the Ministry of Education that its members will not back down. They took the decision at a meeting yesterday afternoon at the headquarters of the National Union of Public Workers Solidarity House. The long-running feud over the SBAs escalated last week when the ministry wrote to the teachers warning that they would be slapped with misconduct charges if they refused to correct the projects.
They have no empathy or caring for teachers, and they will resort to any means necessary, bullying and intimidation. We have, as members, as teachers, as professionals, to be dissatisfied that you're registered at dissatisfaction with the Ministry of Education. And when you leave here today, you have to be committed, truly committed, to sticking by what you have promised to do, to not correct those SBAs, to pass them on to the heads of department here, pass them on to the principals of your school. The principals supposedly have registered their concerns in relation to this to the ministry. We are sending a message to the minister that the assistance that he promised for persons to correct SBAs, we are calling on him to put that in place. Let those people come out and correct the SBAs that we will not be correcting.
In other news this morning, one Goodland St. Michael resident wants to know where are all the guns coming from. The question comes on the heels of two separate shootings which occurred within hours of each other. The first was at the woman's doorstep, forcing her and other relatives to run for cover. But her 21-year-old nephew was shot twice by an unknown gunman. The woman told Barbados Today she is grateful that no one died, but it could have been worse.
Years ago, it was a Collins or knife. And you could have talked out your mouth and the bomb won't do nothing. But now you cannot say nothing out your mouth because the gun and the coming back. Or the marking you. Hear the shooting you.
Right.
It's not right.
The Town Planning Society is warning that a recent High Court ruling on processing of beachfront and agricultural land applications would further frustrate direct investment in Barbados. The decision, handed down by Madam Justice Jacqueline Cornelius, places the authority in the hands of the Prime Minister instead of the Chief Town Planner. But Secretary of the Society, Kim Penfold, says it will worsen planning delays, threaten the economy, and grind the system to a halt.
The judgment in the case tried to be helpful in some ways. It said that decisions need to be made quickly, which is fine. and it called for greater transparency, which is something that the Barbados Town Planning Society has been calling for a long time. The net effect, however, is to cause more delays on important planning applications for major developments. And we'd like to see this situation resolved as soon as possible. There's a problem in providing resources to the Prime Minister's office, and there's a problem in that the judgment hasn't been appealed yet. We'd like to know that the government is appealing the decision, because at the moment it's leaving the whole situation in a state of chaos.
Governor General Sir Elliot Belgrave bade an emotional farewell to primary schools yesterday as he officially ended his primary school tour. And it was only fitting that he ended where it all began for him, at the Bosco Bell Primary School, formerly Bosco Bell Boys School. Sir Elliot was greeted by students and staff who were only too happy to host him before he demits office in June. In his address, Sir Elliot spoke of his deep love for Bosco Bell, where he grew up, and the school and students.
I go to school very dear to my heart, and I will always be grateful for the early nurture and guidance I received here. And I did not wish to leave this office without making this farewell call upon all of you. I thank Mr. J.P. Riley, my old headmaster and teacher used to call me in those days, and the excellent teachers who helped to prepare me for secondary school and for life. Principals and teachers will not succeed in their efforts if the students are not motivated and interested in what they're being taught.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Get your paper, get your paper. Only $2.25, $2.20. Who? For what? That's the Bear Stare News. I don't read about that on Barbados Today since last night. That can't only can't do. $2.20. Who?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back now with news from the region. The government of Montserrat says it has been forced to delay this year's budget presentation due to a delay by the UK in approving the island's financial aid business case. The budget was originally scheduled for Thursday, but a statement from the Premier's office said on Monday that it had to be postponed to April 13th, with the debate scheduled for 5 days later. The statement added that Premier Donaldson Romeo, who is also the Minister of Finance, will authorize funds through the consolidated funds to allow government to continue spending until the appropriation bill is passed in April. And on the international scene, the fallout continues from a meatpacking industry scandal in Brazil. On Monday, China, the EU, South Korea and Chile suspended meat imports from that country following accusations that inspectors were taking bribes to allow sales of tainted food. But officials in Rio are moving to reassure the market that the meat is safe. We get more in this Reuters report.
Eating a juicy Brazilian steak. Maybe for pleasure, but mostly for business. Brazilian President Michel Temer trying to reassure that eating local meat is safe after all. This after police raided a series of meatpacking companies, alleging some of them had paid off health officials to hide unsanitary conditions.
We found that this includes beef and some animal feed companies. Obviously, if we still have these products on the market, we will withdraw them immediately and take action accordingly. With regards to exports, we still don't have any information. At this stage, it's concerned with the domestic market.
This is the latest corruption scandal hitting a country trying to recover from its deepest recession on record. It hits hard a sector worth some $12 billion in exports and risks damaging the country's reputation.
My suspicion is that speculators will look at the big picture in relation to Brazil rather than focus on the near-term concerns that this may bring. But if it grows, scandal grows, and it does ultimately result in major political problems for the ruling regime in Brazil, well then that could be another matter.
Temer's steakhouse stop was not enough to quell concerns abroad. China said no thanks and announced it would suspend Brazilian meat imports, at least temporarily.
That's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Or you can tune in to Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good morning.